We've been talking about the state of
Yes.
COVID-19 in Kenya. Super important topic right now.
Exactly. In fact, everyone's worried about, especially the Delta variant that's doing the rounds in the news. Wherever you go, whoever you talk to on the phone are talking all about the Delta variant. So, Dr. Vishal, let me ask you, why should we particularly be worried about this variant? And if you can just give a brief about the other variants.
So I think I'll start with what the variants are, what basically it means. Just like any other virus, the coronavirus that's causing the COVID-19 disease is mutating, and it mutates much faster than other viruses because it's spreading as fast as well. There are many mutations. There are only some which we consider mutations or variants of concern, and one of them is the Delta variant. And the reason why it is a variant, it is considered as a variant of concern, is because it's much more easily transmissible. So it's likely to propagate much faster within any given population. There is some data on it being causing more severe disease as well. However, there isn't a lot to say that is definitely everyone who gets infected with the Delta variant will get severe disease. It still depends a lot on the risk factors you have, among other things. So one thing with the Delta variant is, because it's more transmissible, it means that you may be still having mild symptoms, but you're still spreading it much faster to others. And the ones who are susceptible to severe disease can get it more easily because they are catching the virus more easily. The virus is able to penetrate our cells within our respiratory tract more easily because of this variation and mutation. The reason why the nomenclature is such that you had an alpha variant, a beta, a delta, there is epsilon, there is lambda, kappa, so many. But the reason why we in the scientific community we use this nomenclature is to make sure that we don't attach the name or the variant to a particular geographical location or anything, because we know they are all over. And it also causes a lot of stigmatization to particular countries when you attach it to particular locations. So the lambda variant was picked up late last year, and has been seen in some South American countries, as well as this gamma variant, which was picked up as well around there, and Far East Asia as well. So all these variants, what has been noted is every time a new variant of significance, of a variant of concern comes out, it's more easily transmittable. From one person to another.
So that's the bottom line. It's a little bit worrying to hear the words like mutation, transmissibility. The glimmer of hope for everyone was the vaccine. And you've spoken about the uptake improving, but there are still some people who are very skeptical about the vaccine. So Dr. Din, if you can tell us, what are some of the most common vaccine myths? And if we can just get rid of those myths this morning.
Indeed, they are myths. And now with the digital era, we have so much information on our fingertips. I mean, it's just a matter of typing something and you get like 100 sites available. I think one of the most common myths that we experience is that if I've got the vaccination, I'm safe, I'm covered. But it is really my humble appeal to all the listeners is that it doesn't mean that you're 100%, protected. I really request everyone to maintain social distancing, continue wearing your masks. If you've gone back to your office from remote working, try and open all the windows in your office and maintain social distancing wherever possible. I mean, vaccination parties are great. Going to marriages is great. But by the end of the day, your responsibility for remaining safe is entirely upon you.
So I just want to add on to that one. On social media, you might have seen people going out for weddings, especially big Indian weddings. They are back. How does it feel as someone who's in the medical field to open your phone, see people partying while you're slogging away in a hospital?
Do you give a dislike straight away?
I don't dislike, but I do zoom in. I do zoom in. But I think from where I sit, Bhargav, it's scary. It's scary to see this happening at a large scale. And we experience this on a daily basis. We have actually daily COVID admissions. Our critical care capacity has been stretched. Our human resource capacity has been stretched. So it's really scary.
Well, there you go. either don't have a COVID party or don't post it. Because sometimes I feel like people are having these parties and showing off almost.
If you do have a party, let people know so that they avoid meeting you.
So they avoid you.
It's better.
Genius.
Yes.
Genius. Yes. Well done, Bhargav. Do you have a job for him at MP Shah? Not yet.
Yes, if he wears his mask for 24 hours a day.
Perfect.
It is a task. It is a task.
If you have any thank you messages for the doctors, any questions, 0758 123 444. Victoria Kimani and Sarkodie coming up next with a very interesting message, very apt. The song. So, Dr. Patel, let's go to you. There are loads of people who have tested positive for COVID-19 and they're stuck at home alone, most likely. How do they take care of themselves? Give us some nursing tips for at-home care.
So at-home care is something that's doable. It's about just following a few precautions. First and foremost is to see whether the person who's infected, if they are someone who has risk factors like advanced age, other comorbid conditions, you may have a cancer, cardiovascular disease, many other risk factors, that's not ideal. Home care is not ideal for those patients. That's one. Number two is the severity of the disease. So for those who have mild symptoms, it's good enough. For those who have any sort of difficulty in breathing, oxygen levels that are dipping as well, home-based care is not advisable because many things can go wrong, especially if you do not have a healthcare professional at home with you. The third thing is the setting you are in. Is it conducive for home care? Because generally the people who are especially symptomatic and positive, you may be asymptomatic and positive, but those who are symptomatic and positive, it would be ideal if they can have their own room, they can have their own space, so that they are not also easily passing it off to the others who may not even have tested positive yet within the same household. That's one. Number two, adequate ventilation wherever this person is. Number three, the carers for an infected individual. That's where the important aspects of infection prevention come in. The carers need to take utmost care. They need to make sure that they are not sharing utensils, they are not sharing towels, etc. They are disinfecting surfaces which come into contact with these individuals. They are making sure that they are cleaning any items used by them properly and decontaminating them properly. Right. And of course, the main thing is to make sure that you're always watching out for warning signs. Anyone having continuing difficulty in breathing, anyone having chest pain, anyone having maybe some people also get symptoms like diarrhea, vomiting. So if you're not able to retain anything, anyone having altered mentation or not able to stay awake or sleeping for longer hours, etc., those are some danger signs where you need to then seek medical attention. But at the same time, it's also important for you to ensure that you do have someone who's giving you advice, the right people, from a healthcare institution. Yes,
at
not
least,
WhatsApp,
yes,
right?
please do not
forwards.
or Google. Just don't get a medical attention. Seek some medical attention. That's the way to go. Don't just try.
Because you don't want to play around with this, right?
Exactly.
And infect the people you love as well.
Exactly. But Dr. Dean, we spoke about how people are becoming more relaxed after getting vaccinated. But let's talk about the importance of getting vaccinated.
Certainly, Bhargav. I mean, there is definitely a bit of an apprehension that should I get the vaccine? Is it tested enough? Is there enough research, etc.? But my urge to all Kenyans is do get vaccinated. Our vaccination appointment portal is available on our website. And it's important that everyone gets vaccinated. So far, the entire Kenyan population, 1.1 million people have been vaccinated for the first dose, about 700,000 for the second dose. We have a dedicated vaccination COVID-19 unit at the hospital, which is right across our hospital. There are certain criteria that you're required to meet. And I would really urge everyone to get vaccinated and not ventilated.
Wow.
That's a good one. Get vaccinated, not ventilated.
I really love that.
I have something to say specifically about MP Shah Hospital. It's very organized. congratulations on figuring it out. I've seen some vaccination centers around my house. It looks like it's kids going to get juice and biscuits.
Yes,
there's no social distancing inside the vaccination center.
Absolutely.
There's no portal. You've mentioned that there's a portal on the MP Shah website.
On our website.
Congratulations on figuring how to really administer these vaccines safely.
Very true. And now, talking about the vaccine, we've got one of our listeners who's messaged us saying, morning and thank you to the both of you for being the frontline workers that you are and how you're going about in saving so many lives. They go on to ask, is it okay to take the second dose after 1 month of having taken the first one? And what about mixing of different doses?
Okay, generally for all the vaccines that are supposed to be taken at least in 2 doses, for the one that we have locally, Astra, it's been seen that at least between 8 to 12 weeks is what is giving a better immune response, better protection. Hence, we are still maintaining it at that. Generally, some areas are looking at even from 6 weeks onwards, because they've seen the immune response becomes much better if you do it from 6 weeks onwards. But in Kenya at the moment, we are following 8 to 12 weeks. For the issue of mixing of vaccines, there is some data around mixing of vaccines is still giving enough of an immune response and protection. And also, in fact, some data suggests that you may get better protection and a more exaggerated immune response compared to a similar vaccine.
Right.
But the data is not yet enough for it to be made an official recommendation by any society or any healthcare organization to say that this is safe enough. As we go along and more data comes in, that may come in. The other aspect that may come in is booster doses. WHO did make a recent recommendation that at the moment they are still not recommending it until they get more evidence. If they do get more evidence that booster doses are needed, then the same will come out.
Well, there you go. You know, you have to get your information from the right sources.
Correct.
This is not just anyone. It's the medical director of the MP Shah Hospital. So you've heard it here, all about the vaccines, the booster doses, mixing cocktails of vaccines. That's what it sounds like. If you have any more questions, 0758123444. Extremely informative session where we have this morning. This is Radio 44's The Morning Fix. Couple more very important questions to ask.
Yes, indeed. There's one thing that everyone's saying. Yes, we go get vaccinated. Let's get the second dose also. But I still see people going to the hospital, falling sick, contracting the virus. Some I've heard from a few friends that they have had to take the oxygen tank. So why is that happening? Why are people still falling sick after getting the second dose as well?
So what vaccination does is it primes your body to mount a defense against the disease, so that when you do get inoculated with the virus again, you are able to mount that response and fight it off. However, it does not stop you from contracting the virus in the first place.
Right.
And that's why all the measures that we have been following need to still be in place despite vaccination. Yes, then people may ask, what's the point of vaccination then? The reason why we need vaccination is because, yes, a few cases we have seen them coming with severe disease as well after the vaccination, but quite a lot of them we have seen they are not progressing as bad as they would without the vaccination. That's one. Number two is that until we achieve what we call herd immunity, which no country has yet achieved, until that happens, the virus is going to be around, it's going to be transmitted, and we will always be exposed to it. I'll put it this way: the vaccine is more like a seatbelt. It will not prevent you from getting into an accident, but it will give you an added layer of protection in case you do.
That's brilliantly put.
That is perfect. It's great to understand in this simple language as well. Thank you so much for that. All right. So we are convinced. We would like to get vaccinated. Where and how can someone get vaccinated?
Thanks, Radhika. So MP Shah Hospital is an accredited vaccination facility by the Ministry of Health. As earlier mentioned, we have a dedicated vaccination unit within the main facility. So I really encourage you to book in your appointment and come in for your vaccination. The vaccination campaign started on the 5th of March this year. And so far at the MP Shah Hospital, we have administered close to 10,000 doses.
Wow.
So if you haven't really got one right now, please do come. I will personally welcome you. And I encourage you not only to, protect yourself, but even your family. We all know that we have vulnerable people at home, your parents, grandparents, extended families where we're living with larger families. So I'd really encourage you to come into the main facility. And we really thank the Ministry of Health for tremendous support that has been extended to the MP Shah Hospital to go ahead with this vaccination drive.
It is amazing to hear that this glimmer of hope is available at the MP Shah Hospital.
Correct.
Again, thank you so much. I can't imagine how your schedule has been like, how your sleeping patterns have been affected, how your family life has been affected by COVID-19. It's affected us.
Yes.
Imagine how it's affected them.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for making the time, really from the bottom of our hearts. And do you have any closing remarks, any message you want to send to the audience? Dr. Patel, we'll start with you.
I think as we said earlier as well, just last thing is don't drop your guard. All the measures that have been put in still need to be followed. The other thing is a big thank you to all our frontline workers.
Yes.
We are providing oversight, but oversight is one thing, but going onto the ground and caring for a COVID patient is another. So we owe this to them. We owe whatever we've achieved so far to them. So thank you to all of our frontline workers.
Dr. Din?
Thank you so much, Radhika. My heart goes out not only to the frontline workers here in Kenya, but also globally. They really have a very big heart. We are at the moment in the MP Shah Hospital in a war zone. So my heart goes out to all our frontline staff, our nurses, our head of COVID-19 unit, Dr. Shamsa Ahmed, and the rest of the team at the hospital, to thank them and salute them for the tremendous work that they are doing. To our listeners, please don't let your guard down. It's serious. We've had cases where we've had transfers out of the hospital due to lack of beds. So I really, really request you not to let your guard down. COVID is very much